Good morning everyone, welcome back. In the last video we have discussed what is chemistry, what is organic chemistry, what are chemical compounds, what are organic compounds and their classification. In this video we will be discussing about nomenclature of organic compounds. So, in the earlier days, organic compounds were thought to be obtained from living organisms. Then, in the later days, so many n number of organic compounds have been derived from the living organisms, and also so many compounds have been derived or synthesized in the laboratories. So because of these many n number of organic compounds have been synthesized, naming of each compound has become necessary in order to identify the compound. To identify one particular compound, naming of that compound has become necessary. For this, a union have been framed which is called as International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So this union, International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, in short form we will be calling it as IUPAC. This union have framed certain rules and regulations to name these organic compounds. So in the last video we have discussed that organic compounds have been classified majorly into open chain compounds and closed ring compounds. So in this video we will be discussing about the nomenclature of open chain compounds. So these open chain compounds, they are further classified into saturated compounds and unsaturated compounds based on their saturation, whether the compounds are saturated or unsaturated. Based on that, these open chain compounds are further classified into saturated compounds and unsaturated compounds. These saturated compounds and unsaturated compounds, again they are classified into two categories each based on their structure. That means straight chain compounds and branched chain compounds. These unsaturated also straight chain compounds and branched chain compounds. So straight chain compounds, in the sense one continuous chain will be there like this. A continuous chain will be there and there won't be any substituents present in this parent chain or on this parent chain, whereas the branched chain compounds means a continuous parent chain will be present. On this continuous parent chain some substituents will be present. So this type of compounds will be called as branched chain compounds, whereas this type of compounds will be called as straight chain compounds. So in this video we will discuss about the nomenclature of straight chain compounds in detail. So if we observe the organic compounds, we will identify that these organic compounds are majorly made up of carbon and hydrogen, and in small quantities we will be finding the other atoms like oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. So majorly the organic compounds, they are made up of carbon and hydrogen. The compounds which are made up of carbon and hydrogen, they are called as hydrocarbons. So hydrocarbons are the compounds which are made up of carbon and hydrogen. So these hydrocarbons can be considered as parent compounds of these organic compounds, and the organic compounds which we find are the derivatives of these hydrocarbons. So how to name these hydrocarbons? We have discussed that hydrocarbons are the compounds which are made up of carbon and hydrogen. So here these compounds, they are having a property of forming ash when they burn. So in Greek, ash forming agents will be prefixed with a prefix alk. So we can find these alkaline earth metals and alkalis. Okay, so these we can find in the periodic table. These alkaline earth metals are the metals which will form ash when they burn. So the ash forming agents in Greek will be prefixed with the prefix alk, alk, alk. And the hydrocarbons in these hydrocarbons, the carbon atoms will be bound together with the help of bonds: single bond, double bond, and triple bond. So here we should remember that the ash forming agents or ash forming substances will be prefixed with the prefix alk, and in hydrocarbons the carbon atoms will be bound together with the help of either single bonds or the double bonds or triple bonds. So now ash forming agents, the prefix alk will be used, and with the help of which type of bond the carbon atoms bound together, that will be used as the suffix, whether it is bound with single bond or double bond or triple bond. This will be used as the suffix. So to indicate this suffix, we have Greek letters. If it is Greek words, if it is bound with single bond, the suffix "an" will be used. If the carbon atoms are bound with double bond, the suffix "ene" will be used. If the carbon atoms are bound with triple bond, the suffix "ine" will be used. So if the hydrocarbons containing single bonds, so these are the ash forming agents, then they are bound together with single bond. So ash forming agents in which atoms are bound with single bond represents alkanes. So ash forming agents in which double bonds are present, alkene. Ash forming agent in which triple bond is present, alkyne. So this is how we gave the names alkane, alkene and alkynes. Now we will start with alkanes. So alkanes are the substances in which carbon atoms are bound together with single bond. So here, how many number of carbon atoms are present? Based on that, we will be using the Greek numerical words as prefixes. So if one carbon atom is present, then the prefix meth is used. If two carbon atoms are present, the prefix eth is used. If three carbon atoms are present, the prefix prop is used. 4 carbon atoms, but, 5 carbon atoms, pent, 6 carbon atoms, hex, 7 carbon atoms, hept, 8 carbon atoms, oct, 9 carbon atoms, non, 10 carbon atoms, dec. If 11 carbon atoms are present, then that will be undec, 12 carbon atoms, dodec, like that. Based on the number of carbon atoms that are present, this Greek prefixes for these numericals will be used. See, up to here, up to 4 carbon atoms, the prefixes what we are using, these prefixes are given just like that. But from the 5th carbon atom, I mean from the chain contains 5 carbon atoms, to further we will be using the Greek numerical terms as the prefixes. So here now we are talking about alkanes. Let us say let us consider this hydrocarbon. It is made up of carbon and hydrogen only, and it is containing 1 carbon atom. So 1 carbon atom and having single bonds. So 1 carbon atom meth, and as it is alkane, ane will be used. So the name of this compound will be methane. If we consider the compound with 2 carbon atoms, so in this condition, both of these carbon atoms, they are bound together with a single bond. So 2 carbon atoms, the prefix eth will be used, and the single bond ane, the suffix ane will be used. So here in this compound, the prefix eth represents the number of carbon atoms present in the compound, whereas the suffix ane represents the type of bond with which these carbon atoms are bound together with. So like this, ethane. So if we take another example, so if we consider this compound here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms are present. So as 5 carbon atoms are present, we have to take pent as the prefix, and all carbon atoms are bound together with single bond. No unsaturation is present in this compound. So the suffix ane will be used. So the name of the compound will be pentane. If we consider another example, so in this condition, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 carbon atoms are present. So as 9 carbon atoms are present in this compound, the prefix none will be used, and here only saturated bonds, that means single bonds are present in this compound, so suffix ane will be used. So the name of the compound will be nonane. So like this we will be naming alkanes. So alkanes are the carbon compounds or hydrocarbons which are made up of carbon and hydrogen and containing saturated bonds only. That means they will be having single bonds only. Then now we will see alkenes. So alkenes, they are also ash forming agents, but they will be having double bond, that means unsaturated bond. Let us consider this. So here two carbon atoms are present, so prefix eth will be used, and as there is a double bond here, we have to use the suffix ene. So we have already discussed that for single bond we will be using ane as the suffix. For double bond we will be using ene as the suffix, whereas for triple bond we will be using ine as the suffix. So here two carbon atoms are present, so the prefix eth is used, and as the double bond is present here, for the double bond we will be using ene, so the name of the compound will be ethene. So this name alkene indicates the presence of unsaturation or the double bond, the presence of double bond in the given compound. Okay, so the name of the compound will be ethene. If we consider another example, so let us say double bond is present here. Okay. So in this compound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbon atoms are present. So prefix pent will be used, and double bond is present in this compound, so the suffix ene we have to use. So pentene. See here, if we observe this type of compounds, so here the double bond is present on second carbon atom, and we named this compound as pentene. Let us say this double bond is present on third carbon atom, then in such case also the name will be pentene. Or let us say the double bond is present on first carbon atom, in such case also the name will be pentene. So to remove this kind of confusions, we have to designate the position of the double bond by using the numericals. So here the second carbon atom is having the double bond, so this the name of this compound will be 2-pentene or pent-2-ene. So this indicates the presence of unsaturation is on the second position, or we can say the presence of unsaturation is on the second carbon atom. So to remove the confusions on which position the double bond is present or unsaturation is present exactly, we have to designate the position of the double bond with a numerical. Okay, so like this. So what if more than one unsaturations are present? So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon atoms are present and 2 double bonds are present in this compound. So how to name this kind of compounds? We have discussed that we have to designate the position of the unsaturation or double bond with a numerical. So here the name of the compound will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon atoms are present. So we will be using hex as the prefix. So as usual, double bonds are present here. "-ene" will be the suffix. But here the question is how to designate the positions of these double bonds. So can we name this compound like 2, 4 hexene? Can we name this compound like this? No, it is not the way of naming such kind of compounds. So how to name this kind of compounds means, here as 2 unsaturations are present, 2 double bonds are present in this compound. So to indicate the number of unsaturations or double bonds present in the given compound, we have to use the prefixes again. So how to designate these number of double bonds means, if 2 unsaturations, same type of unsaturations are present, that will be indicated by bi or di. If 3 unsaturations are present, then that will be indicated by tri. So these words will be used to indicate the number of double bonds or unsaturations present in the given compound. So here 2 unsaturations, 2 double bonds are present in the compound. So the name of this compound will be hexdiene. Hexdiene. Now we have to designate the positions of the unsaturations. So here, as we wrote here, 2, 4 hexdiene, or we can also write like hex 2, 4 diene. So this will be the name of the compound. So here let us consider the presence of double bond instead of here like this. So what we have to do in this condition? So if the name of this compound, shall we write like instead of 2, 4, will the name of the compound be 3, 4 hexdiene or hex 3, 4 diene? No. So this kind of compounds, it should not be like this. So here what we have to do, the unsaturation, the presence of unsaturation should be on least numbered carbon atom. That means the carbon atom which is having the unsaturation should get the least number. While giving numbering, we have to give numbering in such a way that the presence of unsaturation should be on the least numbered carbon atom. So if you give numbering from this side, the unsaturation will be on third carbon atom. If you give number from this side, the unsaturation will be present on second carbon atom. So number 2 is less than number 3. So we have to consider this direction only, because according to the rule, the unsaturated carbon atom should get the least possible number. So in this condition, what will be the name of the compound? 2, 3 hexadiene. 2, 3 hexadiene. So like this we will be naming alkenes. Now we will see alkynes. we have already discussed that alkynes means these compounds will be having triple bond. So let us consider this. So here 2 carbon atoms are present, so prefix eth is used, and as it is alkyne triple bond, so we will be using ine as the suffix. So the name of the compound will be ethine. If we consider another compound, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 carbon atoms, so the prefix will be hex. If we say triple bond is present here, then so the name of the compound will be hexine, and to designate the position of the triple bond we have to use a numerical on which the unsaturation is present. So the name of the compound will be 2-hexine. So like this we will be giving the naming. See here, in these conditions, no branches are there in these compounds. We have seen only straight chain compounds. See, if these straight chain compounds, they are not having any complex complexes, that means so like this, a normal forms, if we observe, so if the compounds are like this kind of compounds will be considered as normal compounds. Or we can say 1 2 3 4 5 6 carbon atoms means hexane. So this hexane can be considered as normal hexane. So this will be hexene, normal hexene, and this will be hexine, normal hexine. So no complications are present on these compounds. These are very normal. So we can consider these compounds as normal compounds, and we can name the compounds as normal hexane, normal hexene, normal hexine. If any complications are present like this, presence of unsaturation somewhere instead of on the first carbon atom, presence of unsaturation somewhere else, or presence of multiple unsaturations, or presence of any substituents present, in such cases we have to use the numericals to designate that complicated carbon atoms. So like this we will be naming alkanes, alkenes and alkynes. So what we will do, if in any compound combined unsaturations are present, so till now we have discussed how to name the straight chain compounds, whether they are saturated or unsaturated. Both the things we have discussed. And if more than one saturation, that is same type of saturation, if it is present, in such conditions how to name the compounds, that we have discussed. Now we will see how to name the compounds which are having combined unsaturations. That means the presence of double bond and triple bond in the same compound. So in such conditions, let us consider as one example we will consider. So in this compound 1 2 3 4 5 carbon atoms are present, and if the single bond is present, that means if it is the saturated compound, then we will use the name pentane, because 5 carbon atoms, the pent will be the prefix, and to indicate the single bond the suffix "ane" will be used. So this will be pentane. Let us consider double bond is present in this compound. So in this condition we will be using the name pentene. If we say that in the same compound triple bond is also present. See, if only triple bond is present, then the name of the compound will be pentyne. But if triple bond is also present along with the double bond, how to name these kind of compounds? Means here we have to give numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the first carbon atom, as usual, the prefix will be same, 5 carbon atoms, pent will be there, and on the first carbon atom double bond is present, and on the third carbon atom triple bond is present. So the name of the compound will be pent 1-ene-3-ine. So here the suffix will be for the maximum saturation. The more saturation will be the suffix, and the parent name of the compound, that means how many number of carbon atoms are present, this parent name will be the prefix, and the lowest unsaturation will come as in between. Okay, so here on the first carbon atom double bond is present, on the third carbon atom triple bond is present. So the name of the compound will be pent 1-ene-3-ine. Say for example, in this condition 2 more carbon atoms have been increased, then the double bond, let us say it is present here. So now while numbering, whether we have to go in this direction or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this direction, we discussed that the unsaturated carbon atom should get the least possible number while giving numbering. So here if we start numbering from this direction, the third carbon atom is having unsaturation. If we start from this direction also, the third carbon atom is having unsaturation. So which thing we have to consider? So here in this condition we have to consider that the least unsaturation should get the least possible number. So here the double bond should get the least possible number, not the triple bond, because this triple bond or most unsaturation we are using as the suffix, we will be giving the less unsaturation the first priority. So here in this condition, what will be the name of the compound? It will be pent 3-ene-4-ine, like this. If at all, if we observe like this, then so the numbering we will consider as usual. So there won't be any change. Oh sorry, the numbering we have to consider from this direction, because the second carbon atom is having the unsaturation. So double bond is present on second carbon atom from this direction. If we start from this direction, double bond will be present on third carbon atom. So we have to consider this direction only, because less unsaturation should get least possible number. So in this condition 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 carbon atoms are present in the given compound, and on second and fourth carbon atoms they are having double bonds, whereas third and fifth carbon atoms they are having triple bonds. But here we have to remember that 2 unsaturations are present, more than 1 unsaturation, same type of unsaturations, more than 1 unsaturations are present. So we have to indicate that one also. So in this condition, what will be the name of the compound? Hept 2,4-diene-3,5-diene. So this will be the name of the compound. Okay. So like this we will be naming the compound if it is having combined unsaturations and more than one same type of unsaturations and more multiple combined unsaturations. So this is about the nomenclature of straight chain compounds. In the next class we will be discussing about the nomenclature of cyclic compounds. Thank you.